and some of the other manufacturing companies. And I've seen we are in the process of thinking in that space, okay? Because this is India, and today all the manufacturing companies is, they have started thinking how critical is process. And when it comes to Cisco today, and if I have to correlate and draw a line between a software services and the networking side of the world and the infrastructure around the IT, it's very, very interdependent on each other. Because at the end of the day, you're dealing with one thing. Any guess? It is data, right? So the data is flowing all across today. Data has to flow across not only from your network, it has to flow across to your production edge. You need to have visibility of your production edge data. You need to have visibility of your supply chain data, right? So data has to be on the edge, wherever your business acumen needs to reach out. At the end of the day, that's all about smartness, right? That's all about smart manufacturing. It can relate it to a shop floor environment. It can relate it to a predictive maintenance kind of a use case, or any other use case that you can think about smart manufacturing. So network and data is very, very critical today. And add to that what those German companies have done, and that's why they are number one in terms of manufacturing, is in terms of precision and the quality that they deliver, is a very well laid down processes. I just thought of bringing up this.
Absolutely, the data is available for, which is used for detection and control, but it could be used for predictive maintenance and optimization of assets to increase the productivity. Maybe I will just take one more round quickly of, and this can be answered by everyone, is if you could articulate what the key pain areas currently you're facing on top of your mind in terms of your processes, and what are the plans of your organization for implementing predictive analytics, in short, to make your shop floor smart. What are the investment plans of your organization? So maybe if we could start from this side now, Mr. Ack.
So basically integration of all the processes. Today what you find that the individual process is well defined, well connected, all data is captured, but how to really integrate those at the plant level. That is one area actually we are working on. So that will really help to really make as an absolutely visual factory. So that sitting at a desktop, we can understand how all your functions are functioning. Okay. But today we are able to do that in isolation. For example, one shop I am able to monitor even at screen in my cabin. But I am not able to really monitor all the screens together so that what is happening today. So those sort of things are actually there. And secondly, maintenance part, yes, predictive maintenance is one area actually where to really make a lot of improvement. Today, just because in automobile, basically because of the paint shops, we have normally twice a year, we call as a shutdown, and that time we really attend the maintenance. But if you see a refinery, they cannot really shut down the plant just because of for maintenance, a huge cost. So there actually the predictive maintenance really plays. So here also we are taking a challenge, how to really reduce the shutdowns and improve the predictive maintenance.
9 years of continuous run.
Correct, exactly, correct.
Germans can't run that.
As exactly Mr. had told regarding predictive maintenance or preventive maintenance, same point I like to emphasize a bit more. How I know, see there are systems we like to implement in how much time the bearing is life is, how much time the bearing can able to withstand a particular pressure. So what is happening is today when the bearing is getting wear out or it is getting broken, then the operator comes to know, then he calling the maintenance team, let it change it. So he is not in a position to find out the real data of the bearing, how much hours it has run, how much life is pending for it. That is one point which help us in implementing the preventive maintenance or predictive maintenance in better way. The other point coming out for Ajay, he's an electrical engineer, he may be able to help me out in that. Electrical contactors are being used after 1000 time on and off or 4000 on and off. The life of the contactor you are not able to know how much time it is left out. So which if any system will come out which can help me in getting it, okay, the life of the conductor is another 1000 cycles. So 1001 cycle you should change it up, otherwise there will be a breakdown will come up. Okay. Then apart from that, again, data, lot of data is getting generated in different silos, but that data never been getting collected or getting analyzed. Until unless data getting analyzed, it no use of getting the data generation.
How many plants do you have, Lloyd?
Total, this is APL Apollo group. We have 7 plants altogether.
Okay.
So 3 in north, 3 in south, and 1 in west. Particularly, I have total 8 million tons of steel rolling capacity we have per annum, and maybe next year we'll be reaching 1 million.
Actually, just to sorry.
Yeah.
Actually, just an input here, probably with the systems like Cisco, but SKF has got a reliability system. There are sensorized bearings, which are basically used in wind energy and in the difficult areas where there is a continuous data coming in from the bearing, and then it gives actually a real-time monitoring when the bearing will fail, when the bearing will indicate. In the trucks also the sensorized bearings are put up, so it is on the dashboard that if there is a wheel bearing failure occurring in next 20 hours or next 40 hours, then it gets an indication. So solutions are available with proper integration with electronics and integration. Those can be very well used.
Okay. It's a good point.
Yeah, I was, see, if I may ask a question to you, Mr. Varun, is like you spoke about 8 million tons of per annum.
Yeah.
So the question is, from a business priority, like
Okay.
like we grow our business every year on year.
Yeah.
So if you look at, I'm not trying to put certain percentage into, I don't know how much business growth you're looking at, but whatever be the percentage,
Okay.
what is the single most driver today which contributes in terms of driving that growth? Is it skill behavior, skill labor, or is it more production efficiency? What do you think one factor which will really help you generate, say, probably 15 million tons of steel per annum over next 1 year? What
See,
is the single
first-
most factor?
Single most factor is the cost factor, which you work out.
Production cost.
Production cost.
Cutting down
the production cost.
How
and
you cut down the cost?
improving the productivity,
Okay.
improving the quality, reducing inventory.
Okay.
The minimum inventory you maintain, the interest cost will go down, and accordingly your overall production cost will come down.
Okay. So that means you're talking about all these bringing down the inventory,
Yes.
lower cost.
First target is improve the productivity. Improve the productivity, reduce the breakdowns. Suppose my efficiency is 65%, how I bring it to 75%?
So do you think all these factors, getting a real-time visibility of the data
Yeah.
at any given point of time in all these, because whatever you are mentioning, each of these topics are all related to processes.
Correct.
All related to business processes, right?
Yeah.
And every process has got data.
Correct.
Right? So getting a real-time visibility of the data is a critical factor.
Yes, definitely. If we talk about the product meal efficiency or machine efficiency, if real-time data I'll get it up, then definitely it will help me in what time the breakdown is going to come. If I have a chance to improve that,
Okay.
or a chance
Related
to
predictive maintenance.
yeah, I'll do the predictive within that time.
Yeah.
And other part talking about inventory. If a real-time data is there, how much inventory at what place is available, the time spending on getting the inventory or getting the particular partner, particular component, you're getting time.
Cost optimization and inventory.
Yes, definitely.
Point what you mentioned earlier.
Well, again, for Hindalco, cost is of utmost and most important is cost, of course, because you cannot do anything on the prices these days. So what you can do is cut down your cost. So if I look at I go back to your question of the kind of projects and the areas of sort of focus. If I take logistics, for example, for Hindalco, logistics is something like 15% of the cost of production, which is very, very high. And if we benchmark ourselves with the best, especially with the Middle East smelters or the Russian Siberian smelters, they are at 7 to 8% of the cost because they don't have coal. They put up their plants either through the hydel power plants or they're on the gas pipeline, for example, in the Middle East. So these costs they don't have, the coal transportation cost. And coal for us is like, it has a multiplier of 11. That means for 1 ton of aluminium output, you need 11 tons of coal. So therefore, if I look at logistics, the main challenge in India is, for example, we move about 45 million tons of different things. The challenge is that 45% of this is through the Indian railway network, where we have to work with the different zones and the divisions, and then with the center, and find out ways and means of solving their problems. And some of them we really don't have a solution, so we try to sort of work with whatever problems we have. So there are challenges and we don't have solutions. Look at the road part on the other hand. Road is very interesting. The real problem of the road is, and if you want to reduce cost, is to reduce the cost of the reverse logistics. That means you find solutions so that you have trucks which have a possibility of coming back to your point. So how do you do that? The main problem is that the guys who are handling the outbound logistics are different from the guys who are handling the inbound logistics, and they don't talk to each other. So the same guy sitting across maybe an office next door is putting a requisition for a truck, whereas some truck probably is waiting there to go to the place where he wants to send the material. So it's a challenge for us to really get this inbound and outbound together, and also to find out where are the trucks moving and where is the demand for the trucks. So it is not that simple. I mean, I have a vision that the best thing would be to have the map of India, and at any point of time we have about 50,000 vehicles on the road. So I would actually know where these 50,000 vehicles are, and also know where the demand for the vehicles are, because if the demand for vehicles are in certain location, these vehicles are not going to come back, but would go to that demand center. So actually matching demand with supply of the trucks in India, it's a very, very major issue. And if this problem can be solved, if the reverse logistics problem can be solved, then the cost can really come down. Otherwise, the main problem is that you can put any amount of material in a truck and that goes, and if it doesn't come back, then again you have to put a requisition for another truck, and you don't know where the reverse cost, logistics cost is all included in your that you are bearing that cost in any case. So logistics is a very, very important area. The visibility, as we have talked about it, and understanding the dynamics of demand and supply in the trucking area, if that can be solved, I think a huge amount of cost can be reduced to that.
I think ours is a composite plant in which we manufacture from fiber to fabric. So in every stage, the things are changing. We have different shops in which we have combing and spinning and then weaving and then processing and all, dyeing is done. So integration plays a very important role. So because everywhere the shape is changing, from fiber to sliver to cloth. Halfway we are doing it in kgs, tons, and then it converted into metric meters. So to have a proper control, if from the beginning, if we can have on integration of the shop floor, it will help us in a great deal, and we are looking somewhere we can have the integration right from the starting. We have automation in silos, but not total integration. Secondly, as Mr. Mukherjee told that he has run for 9 years, we are also thinking of having predictive. Right now, the preventive maintenance is the thing of the day, but predictive maintenance is coming very fast, and no need of stopping the machines and losing the productivity. If you know that it can run for another say 6 months, 1 year or 2 years. Because just for doing preventive maintenance, we open different thing and we may create some problem in doing the maintenance, some defect or this. So predictive maintenance is also another thing which we are looking for. There are many tools which have come for predictive maintenance by which we can do. And second is energy cost. Say energy intensive, textile is energy intensive, so we are looking somewhere how we can improve on energy efficiency, how well we can integrate the things that we somewhere we are overdoing the things, we can save on this we can save the energy cost also.
Thank you.
As Ajay told, we have various processes from fiber to fabric. We are making the, we can say, ship back to the man's back. So there are various processes, almost 26 departments in between, and integration of the data is the real challenge. We have one department where we are using the barcode system, which is the online monitoring system, and we are getting the immediate results. We can see online all the reports. But our other departments, this facility is not there, and it is, at the moment, it is not possible, I think. So it's a very, I think we have to focus on this, and we require
which is about to come, and also in one of our existing plants as a pilot case. And if we successfully implement that, we would be horizontally deploying it across the other sites. So that's the plan in terms of immediate investments. And of course, what we are looking at is completely lean manufacturing and end-to-end monitoring. And as I said before, unless you are transparent on the shop floor, you do not know where the gaps are and what gaps you can mitigate. So that's our plan to be, today a lot of things are on paper, on Excel sheets. So we want to, be seamless in terms of information, availability, available at the click of the button. For example, today when I went to 2 plants, for example, and I asked them, what's your overall equipment effectiveness? So, they have different ways of maybe computing it, and, the results are different. So, standardizing also is very important, something which I'm looking at through this MES system. And quality, things like statistical process control, something I'm looking at. Even safety, for example. We handle, in one of our plants, we handle about 400 to 500 raw materials. Our processes are a lot formulation based, so you could have 10 ml of something going into a formulation and maybe 1 ton also going into it. So monitoring all this becomes quite difficult, and so that's where the challenge is, and we are looking to have a system where we can, the RFID, barcode, whatever is there, so you could implement it right from the inbound. So for example, a truck comes to your gate. Can I monitor how long the truck takes from the gate up to the out gate? So that will give you a feeling of how efficient your process is. So things like that, end to end, is what we are looking at.
When we talk about the smart manufacturing, especially what we always observe, there is a lot of localized optimization people keep on focusing. And one of the reason is because there is no integrated approach to the process. So everybody believes what is the process he is looking at, I should optimize that. So in the process, a lot of unnecessary resource get utilized where it doesn't give the real benefit to the company. So the networking and how we can have the the data information is available. So it clearly gives a priority where, as an organization we should focus, which is today's, at least in our company, we feel it is a much more challenging. And giving the due, importance to the really important activities, which helps the company. Secondly, when you talk about the integration of the processes, because another is challenging, even though we try to do the integrating of the vendors or your partners, because today they are doing it like whether it's web-based communication, but when you talk about real time, there is a lot of scope when we talk about improving the quality, their quality performance, how you can track, how you can integrate with your own system, so that you have the necessary trigger coming in upfront rather than coming as a surprise. So that is something which is very critical, where we are really working on the short lead time, whether you are talking about the high flexibility. So that become like a critical area, which I feel we have to get some inputs for the area where we can to focus to get the best out of it.
The question was, what are the challenges in the existing scenario of the manufacturing which we are facing, and what can be done as a smart move or smart manufacturing? These challenges are categorized in terms